Hi guys, this is Catherine with my rapid fire book tag. I've been researching some book tags and this one just looked really interesting and I wanted to give it a try, so let's go. So the first one is ebook or physical book. Physical book all the way. I love ebooks. I know that sometimes they're really inexpensive and I'm not gonna lie, I have a giant library of ebooks. But there is nothing like having a paperback book, smelling it, hearing the pages turn, there's nothing like that. No feeling whatsoever that can compare. Paperback or hardback? Paperback all the way. I sometimes lay on the couch or lay in my bed and lounge around, and for some reason I can never get as comfortable with a hardback as I can with a paperback. Paperbacks are my favorite. Hardbacks are sturdy and most of the time they are beautiful. Dust jacket and without the dust jacket, but I'm a paperback girl. Online or in-store? I can't lie, online. I love going into a bookstore. Me and my fiance go all the time for dates, but I find better deals and a more wide variety of used books and books that have not probably been circulated in a while online, so it's my favorite place to find books. So trilogies or series? Trilogies all the way. I love series. Harry Potter, for example, is one of my favorites, but sometimes books just run on way too long and have too much fluff and filler when they're a series. I think 3 books is enough to get the point across, have me fall in love with the characters, have times when I'm devastated, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, but still hold my attention. So I think 3 books hold my attention. A series, if it's just subpar, I prefer a trilogy. Heroes or villains? Villains all the way. If you don't have a good, evil, mean, just corrupt villain, how in the world am I supposed to have the strength to root for the heroes? You know? You gotta have somebody really, really bad for me to really want the good guys to win. Okay, so recommend a book I would want everybody to read. That would have to be Into the Dim by Janet B. Taylor. I have not seen this book on BookTube. I might not have just watched enough BookTube videos, but this is such a good book. I will leave its name in the description below so you guys can go and check it out. Next one is List an Underrated Book. I actually have a duology that I think was underrated, and that is the Landry Park duology. I only have Jubilee Manor. I loaned Landry Park to someone and never got it back, but I will be getting Landry Park back. But again, I will leave it in the descriptions. It is Landry Park and then Jubilee Manor. It's a duology. You need to read it, guys. It's really good. What book did I just finish reading? The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I am going to have this synopsis and thoughts on this book in my February wrap-up, but it's definitely a good book and I would suggest you guys go read it. The last books I purchased were Foursome, Deadly Time, and Colorblind, and those were books from a thrift store find. Weirdest thing I've ever used as a bookmark? A leaf, like one of those squares of toilet paper, and a receipt. I love my bookmarks, but I always lose them. So the next is used books or not. Used books all the way. I love new books, don't get me wrong, but the thrill of finding a used book that you've been looking for a while and it's half price and you want to read it, it's like finding treasure. Every time I go to Half Price Books or the thrift store, I feel like I'm treasure hunting. So used books, honestly, also just because they've got memories. I've actually found several used books that have inscriptions to people who they were either like a gift for or someone wanting to remember a moment in time in the book, and I think those are like the coolest things. Okay, my top 3 favorite genres. It changes constantly, but right now it has to be psychological thrillers, fantasy, and horror. Borrow or buy. Buy all the way. I don't ever like feeling rushed. I don't want to risk like spilling something on the book or losing the book or damaging the book. So I rather just own it and know that it's mine to do with as I please, whenever I please. Characters or plot. I am somebody who can overlook poorly written characters as long as the overall plot of the story is good. I even have a couple of books recently that I've rated 4 stars or 4.5 stars where I wasn't so into the characters, but the plot behind the story was so intriguing that I didn't even care. Long book or short book? Long book. I love sitting down, getting ready to dig into a long book. The only caveat to that is if it's a long book only because there's fluff and there's filler and there's unnecessary, just like garbage in it, then it turns me off completely. Long chapter or short chapter? I have to say I'm kind of indifferent. It really depends on what the story is. Some stories call for really long chapters and some stories call for short, snappy, quick chapters, whether you're changing your character's perspective or changing character or just wanting to keep the pace a certain way. So I don't really have like a decision on that one. So name of the first 3 books I can think of: A Corn of Thorn and Roses, Harry Potter, and The Bone Season. Probably because Harry Potter is in front of me, I just saw A Corn of Thorn and Roses, and I just showed you guys The Bone Season. Books that made me laugh and cry: A Court of Thorn and Roses, the trilogy, Harry Potter, the whole series, The Red Queen, the first book I read. There were parts in the Grisha trilogy where I cried. You guys, something you need to know about me to where this kind of makes this question unfair. I cry at the drop of a hat, especially when it comes to books. So can my answer be like most of like all the books I own? Oh, and they're not all the time sad tears. Sometimes they're happy tears. Our world or fictional world? Guys, I read books to escape our world. Fictional world. Audiobook, yes or no? Yes, in some circumstances. I am currently listening to It by Stephen King on audiobook, and books like that I'm okay with listening to on audiobook just because they are very large and there's a ton of world building. I think I'm on like the 15th chapter, I believe, and they are still introducing the characters. And while I don't mind it, it's not necessarily something I think I would have the patience to sit down and get through. So yes to audiobooks because they do have a purpose for like my type of reading mind. Do I ever judge a book by its cover? Yeah, I really do. I have picked up a couple of books that I was like, oh, these look so awesome, I'm gonna get it. And then I realized once I've like read the publishing page that I've seen that book before with a different cover. And I was like, nope, not gonna read it. So I am totally guilty of that. Book to movie or book to TV adaptation? I'm gonna be real with you guys, neither. I mean, if I had to choose, I'd rather a book be turned into a movie just because, you have a higher budget, so you can accomplish a lot of the fantastical things that you can sometimes only convey with words. But if I'm being honest, I like keeping books and movies. So the next one is a movie or TV show I preferred more than the book itself. Shadowhunters. I read A City of Bones when it first came out and I just couldn't get into the story. I have thought about rereading it, but as of right now, I like the TV series and I like it better than the book. Series or standalone? It depends on my mood, but right now I have to say series. Although I do really wish there were more standalone books. I really want to see authors come out with more books that can pull you in and get you just as invested in the characters and the story and the plot line, but still only be just a standalone. Because I think that I used to see a lot of standalone books when I was younger, and now I see a lot of like duologies or trilogies or series, and I wish I kind of wish that standalones would just come back. But for right now, just because I do have so many series near and dear to my heart, the answer would have to be series. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this tag. I want to thank Bookish Bree. I was scrolling through my feed and I saw that YouTube recommended me to watch her rapid fire book tag, and I thought it looked so fun. I just had to jump on in. Please let me know if you have done any of these rapid fire book tags. I'd love to watch them, and I will link her video down below. So please like or subscribe to this video, or both, if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!